Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do a beginner's guide to Logic Pro X. This video is for someone who maybe has just purchased Logic Pro X and they want to know how to use it, get a first look at it, or maybe you're thinking about purchasing Logic. Hopefully this will sway your decision because I have been using Logic now for over 10 years and I swear by it. It's really great for the producer, it's great for songwriting, but this is a first dive in, so I'm going to show you just the basics of getting the project set up and a couple of things to know about where certain things are. Right, so when you open a new project, this is the first thing that you're going to see. So you've got a software instrument, audio, drummer, external MIDI, guitar, or bass. Now the difference between these is for a software instrument, that's basically going to be Logic's sample library. So you've got all their software instruments like electric piano, synths, strings, drums, the lot, all MIDI, and you can choose which instrument you want to start with by going onto the instrument, and then here is their bank of instruments so you can choose from. So if I wanted to use the FM synth, it'll go on there, and when I create the file, there it is, and I can play it. And there you go. And we've got an instrument and we're playing. Now, the next one is an audio, and a lot of the settings of this depend on what sound source you've got for capturing the audio. So, for example, you may have a USB microphone, which means you plug it straight in, and that'll automatically join up to the input here. I have an SSL2 Plus plugged in, and how you can tell what you got plugged in is from the device here. That's the input, that's the output, and this has got 2 channels, so I'm predicting, yep, there you go, input 1 and 2. It also gives you an option for a stereo recording, meaning that you can take 2 separate A-B pairing like microphones recording the same thing, and if you put them in, you'll get a stereo mix in one track. So that's the 1 plus 2, and then also you can have your input as a bus, and that is probably something for a different video where I explain bus sends, so you don't need to worry about that for now. And surround is more for film, so you can play a lot more with the panning, so I wouldn't worry about that either. So the next thing to note in audio is there's this button here called ascending. What does that mean? What ascending means is, say I wanted to put 5 tracks in of audio, so if I click on this, it's going to put 5 tracks into Logic like this. And ascending is to do with the input. So if I look on input 1, it's going into input 1. Audio 2 is 2. But normally this would go 3, 4, 5. So this is if you've got a USB mixer. Because I've only got 2 channels, it's going to stop at 2. But if I had a massive multi-track recorder with different inputs, the ascending would mean that if I was to put in 5 tracks, they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's really great for multi-track recordings. So that's something to note if you have a bigger interface than me, but I've just got a 2 channel interface. So the ascending thing doesn't really work the same for me. And as you can see, all the audio files appear. So we'll just delete them back, and we'll go to the next one, which is drummer. Drummer is great for songwriting, making demos. If you're not a drummer as well, this is a really good way to get some live sounding drums on your recording, because it's basically it's a drum machine. So you got the genre here, which is rock. You can change the genre, but we're just going to go rock for now. And now it brings up an automated section here. There you go. And it's what's really great about this is you can change what you want to play. So if you just want it to be toms, only toms will play. Hi-hats, cymbals, add a shaker or a tambourine, claps. And what you can do to play around is you can play around the fills, so get the drummer doing a little bit more extra things like hits around the toms, or you can use the swing, which is going to put it slightly to an offbeat rhythm, and also you've got all these different selections here, and what these are different drum beats. So this kick and snare 1 will be different to kick and snare 2, which is different to 3. And then also you got the option that you can play a simple soft or a loud and complex, and you can tailor to wherever you want. As you can see, it changes live as well. It's great. And what you can typically find, no matter how long you have the track, the fills will always be at the end. So you can really play around. You can add more, drag it in. The drum will play in time, whatever you have the tempo to. This is just great. So I recommend trying this out. Moving quickly on, we've got external MIDI. So this is if you've got any external MIDI like a software instrument or like a synth machine, and you can plug it straight either into an interface. I know my Solid State Logic has a MIDI input which will appear in here, but it's basically you've got an external MIDI, plug it in, and then it'll just play straight in, and you've got the MIDI data on Logic. And the last one is guitar or bass, and that's basically the same as the audio input, except it loads of presets of guitar, and also the library opens here, so you can play through different amps. You can find the one you want. So again, it's really great for songwriting and demo making. And that's what all of them are. So if we just got our software instrument here playing, a couple things to note. I've got this in a certain way. Logic will look different for you if you got it not on the advanced settings. But most of the time what you'll see is this panel above here, and I'll just quickly go along them. So this is the library. So if you've got a software instrument and you want to change it to something else in Logic, click on this and you can go through electric drum kits, pianos, studio strings, synthesizers. Like it's great, and then literally you can just click on one you want, and there it is. Next one, that's it. This is the information for the track. So this is where you can change, you can transpose chords and stuff. You can quantize, you can even loop, and you can even turn the gain up. So that's really good to have, and that's assigned to the MIDI region. So if you have a different track selected, it's going to be a different MIDI region that pops up on there. The next one is the quick help, which I don't tend to use, but again, it's there if you need it. So it's basically the help button. And then here as well, you've got all your advanced tools, which I encourage you to play around with. I won't explain what all these do in this video. I want to try and keep this as simple as possible. Now, the next one, we've got the window here where you can adjust settings on the synth. So you can play around the cutoff, like all that sort of stuff, ADSR. There's a synth and it changes. And what's really great about Logic, if you go to something like, let's go with the studio strings. All of them have their own sort of settings which appear, and it will appear in there as well if you've got it selected. And yeah, so you can play around with that. This next one, this is the mix window. So this is how you get your mixer up. You can also press X. That is the shortcut to open your mix window. And all your different tracks that you've got will appear here, as well as the stereo output and also the master fader and any buses while you create as well. So that's that. And then obviously here you've got your rewind, your fast forward, and you've got your stop, play, record, and cycle, which is basically looping around. You pick a point where you want the song to loop around. It's really great if you want to record multiple takes. And then you've got all the other information here, like the BPM, what's the tempo of the song is, rather, and then again the time signature as well. And going along here, I'll quickly note this as well. This is your metronome, and so if you play this, and if you have this selected, it gives you a 4 count. So if you're recording, 3, 4, there's your 4 count. If I don't have it on, it just starts recording straight away. And obviously here, this is where you can see your master volume as well. It's very good in case you don't have it appeared up on here, because sometimes you have a channel selected and a bus. The bus will appear and your stereo channel will disappear. But you've always got it up here. Then over here, this is where all your audio recordings go, even if you delete them on the actual track. Logic stores them here. This is how CPU can sometimes overload, because all the data that you put into Logic ends up here. And then this is really great here. This one is just a note section. So type that in there as you're doing a song. If you're writing lyrics, you can just type them in and you can sing along. So you don't even need a notepad anymore in Logic. And this one is Logic's loops, so you can find more of their samples and recordings on here. If you're just starting out in Logic, maybe you don't have the facilities to record, but you want to start making beats or stuff, there's a lot of different loops in here which can get you started. and the last one here is just another project library. So the last thing I'll show you quickly, even though this is quite advanced stuff, is the automation. Now this is how you can automate volumes and stuff without having to touch a button. So for example, this is 0 dB, this is the solid, like the volumes level, and then you can input information to make a fade out. So let's quickly see if I just was to put something in here, you can like hold that down. As you can hear, I didn't put a fade because I've got it set on volume. There's so much you can do with this automation, but I'm going to save that for another video because you can, again, that's like a 20-minute video in itself. But this has been a quick tour of Logic. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I've started a series. It's all about Logic for beginners, and everything I've just talked about, I'm going to go through individually on a more detailed basis. So stick around, please subscribe to the channel. Content is going to be uploaded every couple of days, and please as well drop a message in a comment of any questions you have, any topics you want me to cover in Logic, anything you want me to show you, tutorials, and I'll be happy to do it. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much, and again, I will see you in the next video.